Well, hopefully my opponent,
There
I
you go,
hope my
small hand.
hand will be so huge that she won't be able to grab it. She's gonna be like, oh my God, and then I'm gonna squish her hand.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us again as we continue the 2026 Montana Armbender series. Joined with me tonight is co-host Dakota Shipton and Susie Ann, who is going to be pulling Scarlett Jade Wood for a best of 5 right-handed match in the first female match at the Montana Armbender. So this is pretty historic. And I also do have to say, yet again, our main sponsor, Joe and Leah Bensky of Bensky Towing, is going to be sponsoring this match. So thank you again for sponsoring such a great event and bringing great competitors from overseas, because Suzy is from Latvia and pulling out of Latvia. So before we get into the deep questions, Suzy, can you just tell us a little bit about how long you've been arm wrestling for, and what made you interested in taking this match?
Hi everyone. I have been arm wrestling on and off for about 12 years. Why I say on and off, it's because I have pursued other sports as well. For example, I am a competitive bodybuilder, and during these 12 years, I've also done Olympic lifting, powerlifting, and different sports. Why I haven't been like 100% in arm wrestling these whole 12 years is because I am originally from Estonia and living in Estonia as well, but I'm representing Latvia. Is because arm wrestling in Estonia is very small. Estonian arm wrestling team was they started in 2012, which is, yeah, pretty new. And I joined their team 2013, just a year later. I'm officially the first female arm wrestler in Estonia
Wow.
and the best one. Well, now representing Latvia, but just because I'm so good.
That's what I was going to ask about, because, pulling out of Latvia, but I did see is, part of your credentials, 10 times Estonian champion. So
Yeah.
that's
So,
pretty awesome.
that's pretty awesome. I'm very grateful for a Latvian team to accept me. We are neighboring countries. The distance between two capitals is only 4 hour bus ride away, which I mean in the States is like nothing. For us, you're in a whole different country with
Yep.
different rules and everything. But that's also great about living in Europe, is just a few hour flight and you are already in a new culture. So that's quite awesome. Anyways, coming back to answering your questions, what was the second one? Why I took the match. I took the match because I am interested in challenging myself, and I accept super matches because, as my coach says, I am still a beginner because I started training with him, or he started coaching me just a couple of years ago when I decided to fully commit to arm wrestling. So, in arm wrestling terms, I guess I'm a newbie, and newbies should accept matches. That's what I'm doing, and we'll see what will happen.
Well, I mean, you say you're a newbie, but at the most recent Europeans, you got 6th place, which is pretty big because those
Beginner's
tournaments
luck, I
pull
guess.
in huge numbers. Like women's arm wrestling in the North America, like there's usually a handful of competitors that show up to the tournaments. But when you see Europeans or really any WAF tournament over in Europe, the numbers are pretty impressive. And
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it
yeah,
was a 2-digit number. I don't remember how many women were in my class, but um, when I got 6th place, I thought that I'm gonna cry because all the other Latvians, they got like first, second place, they got like podium places, and then there was me, 6th place. But I was so happy because my only goal was to not become last. And then I just surprised myself with a 6th place, and then I thought, man, maybe I'm not bad at all, or maybe I am. I don't know. We'll see. we'll see.
Yeah, and your opponent, Scarlett, she's, got some pretty good credentials herself. She's the junior IFA world champion, and she got second at the East vs. West tournament, most recently as well. So,
Wait, that was what, in autumn?
that was you were down at that one, right, Dakota?
Which one was that?
The
The
East
most
vs.
recent one?
The strongest man on earth.
Yeah, in Colorado.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
month was that?
That would have been, it was warm, I want to say
August.
August. That sounds
Yeah.
right.
Okay, cool. And how
Yeah.
many
So
females were there? Two?
Probably not
I'm.
many, honestly.
Yeah.
But I can maybe pull it up while you guys chat here.
That's what I was saying. Like, I feel like, one of the things I definitely wanted to ask about is, what do you see in the clubs there in Europe or Latvia that, are able to attract more female competitors and keep them interested? Do you think there's something that's key to that success? Like, do women have their own practice? Do they practice with the men? Is there some kind of culture? What do you think it is that we need to do here in the U.S. to get more women interested in, the sport or North America in general?
I would like to come up with a very funny answer. I could definitely do like a sexist joke here,
Hey,
but
we don't have any censors here, so you're all
but I don't have any good ones right now. My initial thought was maybe it could be the cultural influence where women over here, especially in the Eastern Europe, have to be strong and independent and put up with a lot of shit that men bring on us, and that makes us wanna like get that anger out. But I wouldn't say that we have that many females. Of course, for example, in Estonia, it's a lot better than it was when I joined the team. I was the first one and I was the only one for quite some time. And then the second one joined, and then there were two of us for a very long time. And eventually, I think when I joined the team Latvia, then suddenly we have quite a few female pullers, which is very awesome, but also quite sad for me because I would love to pull with them, but now I'm all the way in Latvia going to pull there, which makes me think did they join because I went away? If yes, then good that I left because Estonia has more female arm wrestlers now. About Latvia, they also don't have like that many. I would still consider it as a small number, yet everyone they have are like really, really good. So that's amazing. About other countries, Lithuania, also not that many. I would say they have maybe as little as Estonia and Latvia as well. For example, I have been to competitions in Lithuania, and it's always like a question, how many girls are gonna show up? Are they gonna show up? One time I went to all the way to Lithuania. It wasn't even in the north side, it was even further away from Estonia, like somewhere in the middle or down south that I remember anymore. And I remember there were four girls. And I'm like, I went all the way there just to pull with four girls. And none of them in my weight category. They were all like 30 kilos heavier than me. And I was like, great. So of course, it could be better. How we could improve it is maybe changing the mentality or changing how we present arm wrestling, because arm wrestling it's a male dominated sport, and when you first hear arm wrestling it's why you do this, and the second thing people think is like, have you ever considered face slapping? So
get that a
it's
lot.
just it's just not an attractive sport. And I also have started my TikTok account and other accounts just to show that in order to be strong, you don't have to be big and you don't have to look like a man. Because many girls think that strong women look like men and they're fat. That's completely false. I've heard it a lot, but maybe others just don't find it attractive. And I mean, come on, you have to give up nails. Who wants to do that, right?
Yep, that's what's stopping my girlfriend from getting it. It's like she's interested, but she doesn't want to give up her nails. So
I mean, I've been pulling with long nails. One time I also received a complaint from my opponent saying that this match did not count because she has long nails and she hurt me. But fortunately, that complaint didn't go through because the judge said, well, you already pulled with her and you lost, so you should have done it before. But the thing
That's
is,
fair.
to be honest, I didn't squeeze or anything because I know how to wrestle with just, flat fingers without squeezing. And now I have short nails, so no problem over there.
No problem at all. And Dakota, I
So
wanted to see if you had any questions before I hop into mine.
yeah, just a quick question. So Estonia is east of like Stockholm and Sweden, and it is south of Finland. Have you ever
Exactly.
been to Sweden or Finland to arm
Of
wrestle?
course.
Yeah.
To arm wrestle in Sweden, no, but we have had many Swedes over in Latvia, and I mean, they're amazing. They're strong, but they're also from different parts of Sweden. So what I've heard is that they are not all in the same club. If I would go to Sweden, I would not be able to pull with all of them, I
Yeah, that makes sense.
assume. And Finns were also visiting our team, and they said that they don't have girls, if I remember correctly. And also just guys came and they said also that it's very tough getting girls into their team.
Well, I mean, a lot of like Latvia's team is quite strong, so I feel like you probably see a lot of people coming from the kind of neighboring areas and coming to Latvia. So that's probably a big benefit for yourself.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Like being a part of Team Latvia it has changed my life. It has changed my like arm wrestling career. It has brought so many good things and good friends in my life, and it has really made me more motivated and more inspired. I remember like being in the Estonian team, it's like you go to the weekly practice cricket sound.
That's kind of how our practices used to be. I'm glad that that culture is definitely shifting and that you're able to be part of such a cool team like the Latvian team. I'd love to see how their practices are structured and how you guys go about all that.
Oh yeah, they're definitely more structured than Estonian practices. But I've seen huge changes happening past few couple of years. Again, ever since I left, like suddenly everyone became alive. But now I've been to a couple of weekly practices in Estonia as well recently, and now they're more structured. They are actually promoting the sport a lot, using like seminars to bring in more people. Just recently, a couple of people did the referee certification, and now they are like official But for IFA, like, Estonia is part of IFA, so that's also the reason I'm not there because I want to compete for BAF and not for IFA. Yeah, so it's picking up. I'm very grateful and happy for the guys who have the energy to push such a difficult sport forward. They're doing great job. Yeah, I'm happy.
No, that's really awesome. I have one more question for you. So I've arm wrestled I was in Amsterdam and I've been to Istanbul for an East versus West, and so I've arm wrestled in Europe a little bit myself. And one thing I've noticed is the structure and the way you guys arm wrestle, especially with officiating and refereeing, like you were talking about, is it's a little bit different. You know how cultures have their differences. Are you worried at all about the way that it's going to be refereed or the way it's going to be officiated, or do you just do you feel like you're going to be able to adjust to kind of whatever comes and be ready?
I mean, if I wouldn't be able to adjust, then I would be a very shitty athlete. But I do have 3 matches in front of me, so in 3 matches I can learn a thing or two.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And that's what I usually do. I go to different competitions, I look at the matches, but not matches themselves, but how referees do their work. Like how they say ready go, or do they say something else? And how long is the pause between two words, etc. So you have to prepare your eyes, you have to prepare your ears because you never know what your opponent does, but you might know what the referee will do. So some kind of a certainty in your life always makes you more confident in your match.
Yeah, Dakota brings up a good point, and I'm sure Sandris has warned you or made you aware, but the armbender's really loud, so you definitely have to be listening really carefully. I can't imagine, like, Dakota probably knows, like, as a competitor when you're up there, you know, are you more feeling that tactile response? Are you able to actually hear Keith when he hits that ready go? I feel like because at the armbender it's just so loud, and again, if you're not super vocal, then Keith might say go before you're expecting it. So, yeah, I'm wondering how that experience has been.
I mean, for me personally, like Keith is very good. He's loud. You can hear him say go, like your commands. He always kind of lets you know. But it's definitely an interesting experience because for how big of an event it is, the venue is compact. Like it makes the atmosphere really fun. So you do have to be alert. Like you have to be, like Susie was saying, you have to be looking at the referee. You have to be kind of understanding what he's going to do. You have to be ready. And to kind of add on what she said, I feel like there are certain referees who care more about certain things than other referees. Some referees are so sticky on square your shoulders, square your shoulders. Some referees want to see knuckles so bad. Some referees are like wrist, wrist, wrist. And you're like, oh, so it definitely helps to do that extra preparation to understand what Keith's going to want to see. Keith's been refereeing for a very long time. As we're pullers and we have our certain moves that we like to do when we arm wrestle, he has certain things that he likes to look for when he's refereeing. And it really pays to learn that and understand it.
Absolutely. Have you had a chance to kind of like look at that or see any of the past armbenders and have a little bit of an idea of how the setups are a little bit different or the rule set's a little different?
Yeah, of course. I was watching your live last year.
Nice.
Yeah, I woke up especially for that. I remember it was happening like around midnight in my time zone.
Yeah,
I
it's a little
normally
bit of
go
a
to
later show.
bed at 8 p.m. So yeah, I woke up around midnight and
Nice.
then after that continue sleeping. So yeah, I do have an idea.
Are
Nice.
you guys coming out a couple days early to try to get used to the jet lag, or are you going to be there kind of right
No, it's
before?
just one day.
Okay.
So yeah, probably gonna be arriving tired, dehydrated, swollen feet, swollen arms. Well, hopefully my opponent,
There
I
you go,
hope my
swollen hand.
hand will be so huge that she won't be able to grab it. She's gonna be like, my God, and then I'm gonna squish her hand.
Well, that's perfect because the next question I was going to ask is, what are your impressions of Scarlett so far? Like, what have you seen from her? Where do you think she's dangerous, and what do you think you have that she doesn't?
I knew that this kind of question is gonna come, and the thing is, you never know how your opponent is gonna surprise you. Of course, I have been stalking her. I've found some arm wrestling videos, been checking those. And I mean, looking from the videos, I can maybe make some assumptions, but you never know what she's actually gonna bring to the table. Definitely gonna be ready for anything. And oh, you also asked about the impression. I saw a picture of her biceps. It's pretty good for such a young girl. Like, I wish I had that big of a biceps at her age. Quite awesome. But yeah, her numbers look good. I heard she had curled like 50 pounds. Well, I don't know if you guys saw, I tagged you, but I also did with 50 pounds today, especially for
Nice.
2 days. Well, of course I didn't curl like down and up. I just did eccentrics just to prepare a little bit from a match and see like what does it feel like curling 50 pounds, but not gonna do anything too crazy that close to the match. Maybe in March I will try something new.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm very looking forward to this match. Looking forward to arm wrestling with such a young girl. And although she has experience of 5 years, which is quite a significant number already for her age. Like, come on, she started arm wrestling when she was teenager. What was I doing when I was a teenager? I was going to school and I had just started going to the gym. Arm wrestling team in Estonia didn't exist even back then. So yeah, quite awesome. Quite awesome.
Yeah, I always wonder what it'd be like if I started arm wrestling when I was a teenager instead of just running around Halo 2 like an idiot in my teenage years. But I'm a little bit older than
Exactly.
most people here,
Like I
so
remember basically running around the gym, not knowing what I'm gonna do, some lat pulls, some squats, just seeing what other people are doing and just doing at least something, but nothing like I'm gonna dedicate myself, I'm gonna compete. Back then, I had no idea that I'm gonna become a competitive athlete, that I'm gonna step on a stage on heels wearing just bikini. I had no idea that I'm gonna arm wrestle different girls and guys in different countries. I had no idea, but that's awesome that she is already doing that.
yeah, and that's also a cool aspect I think for you, is that, we probably won't expect to have any stage fright or kind of like nerve problems because you're so used to being up on stage in so many various formats with different sports.
Are you also expecting to see me in my shiny bikinis and heels?
Probably not this time in the arm wrestling match, but as far
I
as I
know.
know,
I
there's
the
not a
thing is, I'm
dress
very
code.
good with bikinis, but when I have to wear clothes, then I'm actually pretty shy.
Funny how it works that way.
Yeah.
One of the cool things also we kind of touched on last time we talked that I thought was really interesting about this match is that stylistically, just seeing the way that Scarlett typically pulls, like you said, we can pull some data from what she's done in the past, but we never really know how she's gonna match up with your hand and your style. But I think stylistically, you're getting to face a properly sized version of Ivana Pitakova. We talked before how she had about 20 kilos on you in that match. Scarlett pulls very
25.
similar to her. Yeah, 25.
Well,
So that's about 4 pounds for us dumb Americans. But yeah, it's a pretty big weight advantage. They pull very similar, and so you kind of get to pull that style again in a super match format, but again against someone that's appropriately weighted for your class. So I think that's kind of probably exciting because I know whenever I have to pull someone, especially, and I'm sure Dakota's experienced this before, especially a couple of years ago when tournaments were a lot smaller. Sometimes you show up for your class and there's no one there, so you end up having to pull one or two classes above you. And then like there's a style and you think that it's like, man, how can I beat this low hand or whatever? And it feels impossible because you're pulling a super heavy or whatever. But then when you get to pull someone your size who does that, and you're like, oh, my hand's not being swallowed, or it just feels so much better, and you feel like you finally get a fair crack at that, and it just feels awesome.
That's why I'm extra curious about this match. By that time, I would be off season for 2 months, which is because the last bikini competition I did mid-December. Right now, I'm like a month out. By that time, I will be about 2 months out. Bodybuilders say that recovery starts after 2, 3 months. So my recovery process probably will have started by then, and hopefully I would be feeling better than I did during my last super match in December, right after my final bikini competition. And hopefully I will be feeling better than I'm feeling today as well. Yet you never know how this long flight will affect me. I've been to the States multiple times. I used to live in the States as well. I know how difficult it is for me to travel on that side of the world, the long flights and layovers. I mean, after all, I have to take like 4 or 5 flights. It's gonna be very taxing on my body and probably for my mental health as well. But I'm hoping to pull myself together and hope that the miracle will happen. I'm gonna bring 110% on the super match day.
Perfect. And that actually leads perfectly into the last question I had for you, which was, having such like a varied, strength and fitness background and doing sports simultaneously. Like you said, you just recently had the bikini competition. Do you feel like there's ways where that complements your arm wrestling, or do you feel like in some ways it might hinder it? Because I know you have to drop to like really low body fat percentage levels. Does that kind of affect your elbows or your joints a little bit more when you're pulling? And if there are ways that it's complementary, like how do you feel that fits in with arm wrestling?
I mean, I think it's only hindering. Like bodybuilding is only hindering my arm wrestling journey. The only good thing about bodybuilding is that I have to cut down on weight, and that way I don't have to arm wrestle with big girls because I'm just constantly gonna be so small. By the way, I Googled Montana armbender, and somewhere my name came up with for the upcoming match. And when I clicked on my name, it said my age, my height, my weight. And I was like, my weight? That was like way too high. And that was during my previous off season. I think it was my peak weight right before going on a diet. And I don't know where you guys got that number, but I was like, oh my God, did I weigh like that much
I think they
last
pulled
off
it because of
season?
your super match with Ivana. Like they listed your weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also during my match, I didn't weigh that much because I had actually gone on a diet already. And by that time, I had been dieting for few months already. So I had cut weight significantly, not because of the match, but because of bodybuilding. And the thing is, these two things really don't work together because for Ivana, I should have weighed more, but I wasn't able to because I was prioritizing bodybuilding diet instead. So I had to cut down on weight. And well, I will never know would my weight had made any difference that day. No idea. But the truth is that I lost all my matches. I weighed significantly less than planned, and it's because I chose bodybuilding. How it benefits the weight thing is the only thing. Bodybuilding makes your, especially competition season, it makes your muscles like dry, but not dry in a sense that I'm ripped. It's literally you feel like you have no fluid in your body. Like every step you take or every time you squeeze your hand, you feel how those muscles here are like ting, ting, ting. Like that's how dry it gets. And I'm very prone to injury during bodybuilding diet and during competition season. My arms were like first half of January and end of last year, and I thought like, man, what I'm gonna do? Like if I'm not gonna recover for February, but somehow some miracles have started to happen. I have been focused on recovery a lot and feeling better now. I hope it continues, but my extreme recovery routines continue, and I'm hoping to come out of the bodybuilding diet faster than planned or faster than is humanly possible. Yeah,
And I
fingers
totally get that.
crossed.
I think, arm wrestling is definitely a sport of recovery. So that's the most we can hope. We're like feeling like really bad all the way up until the day of arm wrestling. Then we get there and we're like, okay, everything's good to go. Or sometimes you still feel bad anyway, but you do really well. It's really hard to predict your performance in arm wrestling, I feel like. And Dakota just did a great video on that. So definitely go check out his YouTube page if you want to learn more about arm wrestling. He does a great job over there. Before we do closing statements, though, Dakota, did you have any more questions or anything you'd like to go over?
No, I just wanted to say one thing that you talked about earlier that we didn't cover too much, but you talked about how you started like a TikTok and you're doing things like that. I think that's a great thing just because I feel like one thing that's kind of missed in arm wrestling, and it's getting more covered now, but I feel like for a long time, we never saw people like posting any content at all. Like even if you're an arm wrestler and you don't always post arm wrestling related content, it's a good way to kind of cross contaminate and get people involved in the sport. So I just think that's really good. And I like what you were saying. Like my personal opinion, I think when anyone has a channel, they need to have something like it's like a goal or a niche or something. And I feel like you kind of found your niche, like you were saying, where it's like, you're showing that you don't have to be giant and strong to be an arm wrestler. Like you can have that niche. And I think that's a really cool thing. So I just wanted to say like, That's super cool.
Oh, thank you. And I really do hope that more girls are gonna be interested in this sport, or they're at least willing to try out, because the technicality of the sport, how small things can make a huge difference, is mind blowing. And then you can learn like different systems and see how you can do this in order to achieve that. If any girl is interested in that, then that would be great, because girls don't have to be interested in pulling or being strong. That's for guys. But girls can focus on, we're smart. Like, we like using our brains, and then we can do like those nitty small things. I think that's especially cool. And I hope that girls will find that, and that they will find the interest in that, and see that arm wrestling is so much more than just being strong and putting one arm on the table.
No, I really like
Sorry
Absolutely.
that.
for the sound effects.
No, perfect. No, that's great. I'll clip that out and I'll post it everywhere.
Okay, yeah, make it the gift or
But
some
yeah,
clip.
I love that because no one's going to care more about your career as an arm wrestler than yourself or, in any sport. So definitely we need to see a lot more people just being willing to go out there and either post content or at the very least click the share button for the events that you're competing in. Get it out there, make them as big as possible because especially, if you get the win here and you come back to defend your title, the more people that come in, the more sponsors that come in, that benefits you greatly as a competitor, gets you more exposure, gets you more access to bigger, better matches in the future. So I really do hope that, people start doing that more often because it seems like in arm wrestling, there is a very large, unfortunate subset of the arm wrestling fan base that almost gets offended by you posting content and will get upset and we'll have words for you and stuff like that. And it's okay. You could just ignore most of that, but it's just kind of an odd culture thing. And I think it's because we're kind of breaking out of that niche category and we're really starting to grow. And I think you can kind of look at the beginnings of CrossFit and how it kind of got bigger. It's because people just started posting, not just because you were a big name, but people just started, oh, look, I can do like this. I'm a CrossFitter, but I did this Olympic, snatch and it looks really cool on video. So people are just posting that. And it's like, oh, that's the, 37-year-old mom down the road that, we thought she just baked pies and stuff like that for whatever, but now she's putting 200 pounds over her head or doing a crazy deadlift. And that's what arm wrestling needs. It just needs more people willing to just put what they're doing out there. It doesn't have to be hyper curated. It could just be your cell phone and a moment in the gym or a practice pool or whatever, and it'll grow for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned share button. It's the easiest thing to do. Like, whenever you see your friend or acquaintance competing somewhere, maybe you share, and then someone who's actually interested in that sport or interested in watching that will see it from someone else's feed.
Yeah, I mean, as an up and coming content creator myself, and I'm sure you guys both see it, just even if just a few people hit a share button and share your post somewhere or your content somewhere, it literally double, triples, quadruples the reach. And so it's so important. And hopefully people understand just how much it really helps, not just for that creator, but just for growing the sport in general. But yeah, no, I think we hit a lot of topics today and everyone got to know you a little bit better. And I just wanted to see before we close out if you have any statements for your opponent, or anyone watching or back home, anything you wanted to say.
To my opponent, well, my dear opponent, you have canceled 3 interviews with me. I hope you're gonna cancel the match and let me win.
Nice.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know, should we cut that out?
No, I think we're gonna keep that. Hey, that's totally fair. I understand it. And maybe it'll bring some more heat on the match for sure.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Yeah, Scarlett, you're scared of me because I'm not. See you there on the other side of the world, on your side of the world. I'm coming all the way from Europe to arm wrestle with you.
Well, yeah, I love to hear it. Love to hear it. Well, thank you, Susie, for joining us here tonight. This was great. Hope to hear from you more in the future. Dakota, thanks also for coming on. And if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe, and we will catch you guys next time.